Yo, bartender.
Bar's closed.
Hey, yo, bartender, what's good, man? Let me get a drink, man. Let me get a shot.
Hey, man, I know you just pulled up to the bar, but we closed.
Come on, man. You gotta be able to give me a shot, man. Come on.
You look like you need a drink, man, but I hate to tell you this, man. We about to close.
So you mean to tell me all these people out here, they got drinks and they got shots, but I can't get nothing. The bar closed that soon?
Okay, man, I don't know what else to say. I got this shorty half my age at the crib, and I'm trying to get to her. But last call was 10 minutes ago.
You know what? It's alright. Don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it.
All right. Tell you what, I'm gonna get you one drink, cause it look like you need
one drink. I can do one drink. I can do one drink, cause I really yeah.
Hey, man, anything, man. Look like you got a lot on your mind and you need a friend right now. Pour it on me. Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.
Welcome to Bar Talk with Jay.
Welcome.
One of the things I want to brought to you by is Talking Trash. This is a garbage company that's been new to the scene, and one of the things I'll help promote because, again, sometime in life you got to change up, and the bottom line is in change up, you got to have something new. This is a new garbage company doing the same thing that I was already doing, and I'm just adding value to, because one of the things I got to say, I got to touch a lot of different people in my time. And I really feel like time is running out because I don't know what God has just for me. But I got to touch some more people to get them to where they need to be. And that means I have to do something different. So I'm touching some folks to get them up to par, to make sure they can give you your needs. Because customer service has been built into me from where I came from. One of the things I'm going to do for him is the same thing that y'all did for me. Y'all supported me. I want to support y'all with some more things that's going to give you the ability to use somebody else who can do the same thing. Talking Trash can do that. And all you got to do is go to my website, Bar Talk with Jay. You'll see that.
There you go.
Now, I got to get back to this person been rocking with me. This upcoming year will be 8 years. Come in this bad boy each and every time with a smile. Craftmatic, how you doing tonight, big baby?
I'm doing lovely, Jay. Just lovely, man. Everything is good. Just focusing on the right things. You know what I'm saying? Really,
right thing, righteous thing.
Always focusing on God, progress. You know, take good care of myself.
Right.
Mentally, spiritually,
like
my health. And, just doing it big, just doing it big, man.
I like to say, I point this out because, it's never hating. But one of the things I always want to say is he a good guy. He a good guy. This guy right here will shake your life. And a lot of times people say he a good guy, so he finished last. This is new time, new era. I don't believe you're going to ever finish last. You walk with God. And I really feel like the bad girls that feel like they got to walk with something that's tough, rough. You need to walk with something that's divine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's time for you to change your tune. Because again, good people finish last because of you and your thoughts. It's not because of their walk. You walk with God.
There you go.
Figure out you before you get one. That's all I'm saying.
There you go. A great way to introduce our show. This is Bar Talk with Jay. My name is Craftmatic. This is my boy Smooth Jay.
In the building as always.
And we want to thank you folks for being here with us tonight. We are simply here to liberate your mind and soul with a fantastic dialogue.
Yes.
Tonight we're going to talk about past decisions.
Ooh.
What's a past decision you made that you wish you could redo and why?
Mm.
And in a conversation like this, we all get nuggets of inspiration, and that's what it's all about. We are here to inspire. We are here to just cover the topic in a way that you can grow from your seat, wherever you are right now, at whatever time it may be. We like to think that each of these shows are timeless. So sit back, relax, just enjoy the word, and find some way to grow, find some way to make a new decision, and maybe even become a bigger and better you. And of course, we always start the show off with a prayer. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know, Jay, would you like to do the prayer tonight?
So I'm going to grab this one.
Okay.
I'm going to grab this one off of what we're talking about, because one of the things I do is ask for a redo. Sometimes I don't always want the good Lord to give me a redo. I ask the Lord to give me guidance in my decision. I always pray for him to make me understand what I do. Because he gives me the gift to realize that he gives me blessings. And I learned that I don't understand what he's giving me. And I ask for a prayer for him to give that clearly. Now, I'm going to tell you all day long, instead of asking for stuff, I ask for clarity. Because how can I serve him and I don't understand what I do? Please understand. With this prayer, it's a prayer of understanding to understanding what you do for him, not for you. So, as I say this, hat off for respect. Is Lord, when I came to you and I asked you for understanding and I asked for that, you revealed so much. And you revealed it because, again, I had to realize I was not the one for you. I didn't do everything understanding you. And one of the things I noticed is I failed quickly. So when I came to you and I asked for this prayer, it was a prayer to get back in line for what you have for me. Because I can't do this without you. For anybody that ever roll with me, please understand he asked me first. Whatever I might have done was secondary. And I apologize for it. Because when he walks with me, I walk within a better step. My steps was because I lived in a world that didn't even respect me. But one thing I always did was respect him. And I want to say, God, thank you for getting me through all the stuff I've been through. And to give me an opportunity to serve you. And I would not fail you from the failures I did to me. Thank you for getting me through that. And with that, thank you.
Amen.
Simple prayer for a situation that you might not be willing to say. New show, new way. Let them say. So.
There you go. There you go. I think that's very key to what we're going to talk about here tonight.
I think so.
Tonight we're talking about past decisions.
Mm-mm.
What's a past decision you made that you wish you could redo and why?
I'm in trouble. This one right here, please don't hold me over. It's embarrassing, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. When I was in school, I heard a person lie about who he was with, what he did, this, that, you know. And the girl came back and told the crowd. She was like, he said he did this, and she just busted him out. I'm at the classroom table, and I'm sitting there like, I'm still a virgin. And I'm listening to her to say that she did it because of the lie he told. So I said, well, and this is how rude and stupid we could be. I was like, well, he lied and got it. Well, he got it. I ain't getting that. So I grabbed a situation that was embarrassing. She busted him out. And I said, well, I'm going to change this up because he lied about it and lied about what he could do. And he got it. And I wasn't getting that. Well, hell, I need to do what he did to get something. So I did. I didn't lie, but again, anything is not all truthful is a lie. So
did it help you?
Yeah, it did. So I was sitting at the table after this, and I was sitting there, and they was talking. I said, you know something? I'll break your back. And I was just talking to a female. And I was like, I'll break your back. And she was like, what you talking about? I said, this ain't what you want. This right here ain't what you need. Because this right here will put you in Grady. What you mean put you in Grady? I'm like, yo, listen, I'm telling you, you'll be in a trauma center fooling around with me. This ain't what you need. Now, I'm going to tell you something. It wasn't a total lie, because if you ever mess with me, you realize I will send you to Grady has the great trauma center and also mental health, because I will mess your mentalness up. This ain't what you want to play with. So I was playing around with it because I was trying to seek to get something other than I was getting. Not knowing I had enough power in me that I ain't never had to play like that. I heard that and I played off of that. And I didn't understand how much power he gave me. So again, I did it to get over because of what I wasn't getting. And then I realized later in life that I got so much more to give.
Yeah, and it sounds like you made a decision that you didn't have to tell any more lies.
Well, it came about once I seen the destruction behind the lie. Because again, I wasn't about that. This is how you live a life of nonprofit or living for a world that don't care for you. And now you understand why the world do what it do, because you live in a worldly life that don't care. My whole thing is that ain't what he taught me. He never told me to go this path. It's what I decided. I made a decision. And when I made that decision, I started looking at my results. And my results landed me in situations that I didn't care for. So now I done hurt some people, I done did some things, and you wonder how you can fix what you started. Is to stop what you started. I didn't just have to ask him. I asked him to give me understanding. You need to understand your wrongness to fulfill a purpose other than what he had for me. I was down a path that wasn't even meant for me. That was the sad part. The reality part is once I understood the things that I was doing, it didn't make it that hard to stop. Now, some be like, lying come easy. Truth do too. Truth hurts just like a lie. And a lot of people can't even decide what they want to choose. I chose that, and I apologize for anybody I ever lied to. The truth, not just set you free. It's about you. How can somebody date you and they don't even know you? So one of the things I want to do right now is to hate the dating world. The dating world is about, I want you, and I'd rather lie to you than be honest to you because you're a coward. Just like me. So if anybody want to come in my DMs and cuss me out, I'm ready for you. You know why? Because you ain't about that life. I've been there. I'm just saying. You can't be honest about you. Why? If you ain't want to be in a monogamous relationship, state it on the upfront. You really dating somebody and you want to be with somebody else, state it on upfront. I'm not encouraging bad behavior. I'm encouraging you to be honest about yourself, for they can make an honest decision about what they're messing with. Because you scared that she will not decide you. You scared because you ain't worth deciding for. I can't help you if you a simple-minded, little-ass person that won't grow up. Guess what? I was there too. I'm asking you to be a bigger person and respect the person that's in front of you because you don't know. That person can help you in ways you don't even understand. But the fear that you have will keep you where you at. That's not what he asked me. Right. That's what you chose.
That's what you chose. You know, just to kind of highlight this conversation, if you've lived a little life,
I have.
You can look over your shoulder and you can determine if you've made good decisions in the past or bad decisions in the past.
Maybe a little bit more.
If you've made good decisions in the past, it should probably become your status quo, those decisions, right? Unless you're not happy with them. But if you made bad decisions in the past, then it is so important today that you look in the mirror and be honest with yourself.
Ain't that called self-evaluate?
You have to be able to take a good look at yourself and not add any fluff, but really stand in the gap and say, I'm good at this. I'm not so good at this. I know this. I don't know this. I believe this. I don't believe this. But what even more important, what I'm looking in the mirror is saying,
What you saying?
is that I did something that I shouldn't have done, and I'm going to forgive myself. Because what has happened is when you look at that past decision or that past situation that you were in, you probably allowed yourself to be wronged. You probably allowed yourself to be taken. You probably allowed you probably didn't make a stance. You probably didn't defend yourself. You probably said yes when you should have said no, right? But whatever came out of that situation, whatever pain might have came out of that particularly wrong decision or wrong situation, you finally have to deal with in order to move forward. Because if you don't deal with that, then you're going to be carrying it forward.
Ooh.
And you're going to be carrying heavy, heavy burdens of past memories and past mistakes and past decisions.
Baggage.
That looking in the mirror is the process of healing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
See, when you look in the mirror and you're honest with yourself, you're moving to a greater place in life, a greater place within yourself, right? And so you have to learn how to forgive yourself for past errors and past mistakes.
Right.
One of the things that I did, young man, married, 8, 9 years into the marriage, I experienced some things and I said, I'm done. And when I look back over my shoulders, 20 plus years ago, I think to myself, Stacy, that wasn't the right decision to make. You could have done better than that, Stacy. You could have held in there for a little longer. You could have fought a little harder. You could have asked for apology even though you didn't think you needed to give one. You could have accepted somebody's apology even though you didn't quite believe it. You could have been a little nicer. You could have been a little more. But I feel like I have lost a tremendous amount of love and family relationship because of the decision that I made. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about it. But it turned from a bad apple in my spirit to something that strengthens me now.
All right, let's talk on that.
Right? And here's the process. The process is that I used to look in the mirror and say, I hate what happened. I can't stand this person. It does feel bad. And why am I the victim? And they did all this to me. But when I look in the mirror now, I say, man, I'll never do that again. But obviously the Lord had me, so I'm going to be fine with who I am, and I ain't going to make that decision anymore. I'm going to think a little more clear. I'm going to pray a little more before I make a decision. In fact, one of the things that came out of this particular hardship, Jay, and this is major, is that because I've realized in my history that I sometimes don't make good decisions, I stopped making decisions.
Ooh.
And what that means is I stopped making outwardly decisions.
Right.
I decided that if there was anything that I wanted or anything I wanted to do, that I would pray about it and let the Lord reveal it. And there have been moments in time where I said I wasn't going to say nothing, but I prayed about it, and then the right occasion came for me to say it. And when I said it, everybody was pleased that I said it. And sometimes those people were hurt, and sometimes those people were filled with glee. But, here's a situation where I didn't decide I was just going to go in and open my mouth. Right. I only open my mouth when I'm divinely inspired. And so I prayed over it. And the next thing you know, I didn't disrupt my environment. I didn't say something that I regret. I didn't hurt anybody's feelings because they didn't quite understand. And I do that a lot nowadays, especially with text messages. I want to send a message to somebody, and maybe it happens to be an uncomfortable situation or something that people can take it wrong easily. I say the least possible thing that I can say. Right? I be as nice as I possibly can. Sometimes I just don't say things. Right? But the important part of the equation is that because of my taking a good look at myself and saying, Stacy, you don't know what you don't know, so you better leave the decision making up to the Lord. He'll guide your path. And so now anything you want, anything you're interested in doing, expressing, etc., take it to the Lord first, and he'll either put it forth or he'll hold it back. And now I'm operating on the Spirit.
What?
Now I'm operating on the Spirit, right? And so that's me taking ownership of my mistakes, me taking ownership of my past errors. Let me tell you something about life, is that if you don't own your past, you cannot own your future. If you have a victim mentality for what happened to you in the past, then you will carry that victim mentality into your future.
Hold on. You got to give him clarity on that because I promise that's profound. And again, I don't never mean to interrupt him. A lot of people do not understand where we came from because, again, we've been through so much. But I want to break it all the way down because, again, when they hear that, then let them know you're carrying a evil spirit to a future thought.
That's right.
And that's what I want to break them down to because no one wants to get to the substance of the problem.
Right.
And it's you.
It's you.
You're carrying.
Yeah.
From a
Or
world
lack
that
of.
wasn't even probably yours.
Right.
There's something done to you. But you carry to the next one. And that's where I want to make sure clarity is because that's where you can rebuke is understanding. So please continue. Because that's deep.
So if you look over your shoulder at a past relationship and your spouse cheated on you, hypothetically, your spouse cheated on you, you could live the rest of your life saying, all men do is cheat on me. All women do is cheat on me. If you say that 100 times over 10 years and you call yourself looking for Mr. and Mrs. Right, all you've done is spoken the negative energy, the evil energy over your life. You've spoken it so much that it now becomes who you are. And so now you begin manifesting relationships where people cheat on you. And that's the evil part. You don't want to take those experiences into your tomorrows. It's important to deal with them in a healthy way so that you leave the negative energy behind. Don't take the negative energy of the past into the future. Don't go to your next job expecting the same BS that you got from your last job. Because now you're taking negative energy into a new environment, right? You're trying to put old wine into new wineskins, and it does not work. It does not work. You have to fix the problem. Now, because I go back 20 years ago and I take a sample, I take a sample of what happened, and no matter how it ends up in my head, no matter what they did, what they said, how it went down, in the end, I take full ownership of what happened, right? I allowed that to happen to me, and I'm not going to do it again.
Like it.
Right? I must have been the problem in that relationship, why they cheated. I'm not going to be the same problem anymore. You hear what I've done is I've taken, no matter how the issue ended, I resolve it completely in my mind so that it is not an issue going forward. I just have a clear stance on it. Oh yeah, my ex cheated on me, but you know what? I was probably the problem. I probably wasn't doing what I was supposed to do, but you know what? I'm going to be more attentive next time. I'm going to be more on the outlook. I'm going to be a little more outspoken. I might be a little more reserved. I might be a little more careful. I might be whatever. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to take the past into the future.
Say it.
Resolve it in your mind's eye. There's so many incredible messages here, and I just want to kind of recap a few of them here, right?
Yeah.
The key in looking at my past decisions is that I get to see my own destruction. I get to see how I've been tearing myself down, or how I've been tearing other people down, how I've been tearing my relationships down. I get to see how I've been distracting myself, how I've been hurting my own financial situation. I get to take ownership of it, right? I get to be honest with myself. There is, and you know, we're going to make mistakes. We're all going to have errors in our life. There's always going to be things that we look at our past and say, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. But don't let it damn you. Don't take yourself to a place where every time you think of that past relationship, you get sad. If you think of a past relationship and it starts to hurt your feelings right now, you are carrying the weight of those relationships today. That means all that weight that you had back then, you're holding on to it right now. And that's why oftentimes me and Jay are talking about early in dating and early in relationships, that, you don't need to be spewing out a lot of that old negative stuff because you're showing that you still care about it.
Especially social media.
And Crab, like you said, I think too, like a lot of people always talking about I forgive, but I won't forget. That harbor something. If you forgive, you have to forget.
That's right.
And you have to. I find that you have to think of the positive things about that person.
Yes.
Even though y'all went through negative things, and that'll help you forgive and forget.
Yeah.
Get past.
That'll help you get past. He's talking about forgive and forgetting, and if you forgive, he's suggesting that you have to forget. And forgetting is hard, but it's a place where you have to put that stuff in the vault. You got to throw it and put it in the bottom of the ocean, and you can't be thinking about it anymore because every time you think about it, it's going to bring up those old emotions.
Now, I can also say, in that forgive and forget, I can also tell you I learned boundaries because some things you put me through, I'm not going back through.
I'm not going back through. I'm going to do it differently this time. That's exactly right.
I will tell you, the problem with you carrying is you carrying the hurt, not the understanding.
Right.
I pray for understanding. And one of the things I want y'all to understand is when somebody puts you through something, I'm not asking you to stay with them. You have to evaluate. Okay? When you go through that evaluation, don't just look at the hurt, look at the whole thing.
Yes.
Because everything could have happened in an instant, and some things happen because that's just a person that's just that way. That's how you evaluate that, and that's why you don't gotta carry it no more. But you don't have to stay with that person. I can forgive you and move a hell away from you because sometimes it's not worth me staying with you.
Right.
But that doesn't mean I didn't forget. I had to let that hurt that you put me through because I didn't see it coming. I had to let that go.
Yeah,
to realize that I respect myself in a way that I won't let that happen again. Now set new boundaries and I have a better understanding of what happened.
Yeah.
And I don't have to just say, I'm going to remember you by that one thing. I won't do that. I'll give you that. Because I know you cared enough to show me that you entered my life in a better way. And I ain't going to disrespect you by remember that one thing to make you leave my life. But I will leave your ass when you put me in that certain position.
If you don't follow the rules, you got to go. But
that's all.
It may not be no hard feelings, and
that's not harvesting.
Unfortunately, that's not. It doesn't feel good, but that's something that you have to do in life, right? Mm-hmm. You may not necessarily feel good about what you have to do, but you know what? This thing is getting on your nerves. Mm-hmm. It's driving you crazy. You're losing your potential. You're wasting your time, and you can't blame people for being who they are. And really, this is an acceptance conversation, right? You have to accept people for who they are. And when you get down to the brass tactics, to the baseline and the fundamentals, it's called unconditional love. And, you have to love people in spite of how they may have treated you, in spite of what they did to you. Unconditional love.
Okay. No, correct.
And it's not easy, but it is a necessity of life.
You open up a can of worms, and I ain't gonna lie. I want to dig into these worms because I've never really looked at too many women, and I will say, and I'm sorry, that give unconditional love. They give it to their kids, they give it to their animals. They don't always give it to men. It's been like, I give you unconditional as long as you don't do this, this, and this. That's not unconditional. Now, to let you know, the one thing I got to say that I was wrong about is because they might have did that because of how they was treated. And one thing I always say, they don't give us unconditional. We always treat it with conditions. But I never took the time to look at how they were. I'm telling you about how I was treated.
Yeah.
The saddest thing is, I met somebody that gave me unconditional love when I showed her love.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you, this is where the difference comes from to maturing and staying immature.
There you go.
Because I always said that because I was immature about the stuff that happened, but I didn't take responsibility of the things that I was doing. Then I got with a person and I showed them the best me because I wanted the best them, and then they showed me unconditional. Because at that point, they wasn't threatened about a condition of me. They wanted to show the best of them.
There you go.
So I'm just saying, we have to watch what we do to get the best of what we do. And a lot of times, we speak from a hurt instead of speaking from a blessing. And all I can tell you, I've been a victim of that. And I don't want that to happen to anybody else because I was a person.
What you say, Jay? What you say?
I think going back to kind of agreeing stuff with some with you and going into the unconditional love thing, Jay, you really got to look at it though. Us as men, like Kraft was saying, you got to reflect on other stuff. You got to reflect on yourself and stuff like that. Like on the unconditional love thing, like we do say women don't. It's always a condition, but for real, most of us men do more than what most women do. If women did what we did to them, they would have been. We would have been gone.
Yeah,
we would have been gone. So it is unconditional love. They really do have unconditional love. Cause I know all the stuff. If I look back on all the relationships, my baby mamas, everything, the stuff that I did, I wouldn't have took that shit.
Yeah, and listen, it takes an honest look in the mirror, and in order to get to that place.
Yeah.
And so now what happens is,
What's that?
to some degree, this unconditional love causes us to regain confidence in the people of our past, right? And, you know, we can look at them and say, oh, they didn't listen or they didn't understand us. But in the end, we can look at them and say, you know what? They put up with some bullshit that they didn't even know they put up with.
Yeah.
And so, you know what?
And everybody has a breaking point.
Yeah, I wish them the best, and I want them. I want good for them, and I'm not hating in my heart because of what happened in the past.
And I can
That's
also
the
tell
unconditional
you,
love.
it adds back to you giving unconditional.
It has to.
Because remember,
Absolutely.
you're noticing now your own condition. All right, you're looking for unconditional. Look at your condition. You wouldn't take, but look what you gave. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's where you get back to realizing it's an imbalance. And then at that point, you want to start giving a better way, and then you'll start receiving a better. And my whole thing is self-growth. This whole show is about self-growth. The thing I said, 2024, and I ain't waiting to 24, I'm starting now, of new growth is understanding you. How the hell you expect something better and you don't even evaluate you? And that's where you get better conditioning, okay? I said they don't do this. And well, look at my own conditioning. That's what makes the show where it's more dynamic is because now I hold myself more accountable. And that way, I'm not just blaming. I'm sharing responsibility. Because you got to understand what you do too. And when you do that, man, I tell you,
Here's the
it
thing.
enhances a lot of things.
And I think we made this point earlier, but I want to just kind of recap it for a moment.
What you want to do?
You cannot take and harbor old bad emotions and take them into your today and tomorrow. And so, again, at the end of the equation, whatever rationale you have to use, talk yourself into a whole new reality. But whatever you do, you have to forgive the other person. And you have to, you may not send them good energy, but you definitely don't send them bad energy. And that means healing yourself of those past mistakes and those past errors. That's how you heal yourself. You heal them by finding unconditional love. That's how God, heals you is that unconditional love. No matter what you've done wrong, He will correct it, and He will,
And that don't mean you go back.
That don't mean you go back.
Please understand that. It's not an offensive. Kraft is on the right track. That is a huge part of healing. The saddest part is you feel like you can go back to fix what was purposely done to make you realize what you need to recognize. That don't mean when you do that you totally heal. One of the things I can tell you, I've been through a lot of things in life, and I ain't never deal with it. I pushed it off. And I went years without. That's not healing.
That's not healing.
Let me help y'all. If y'all went through a bad circumstance and you said I was healed because that was about 6, 7, 8 months ago, a year, I don't give the time frame. I don't care. Bottom line is you ignored. You put your job in front of you, somebody else in front of you. You never dealt with, and you carry. And I promise you, that's the difference.
In that 20-year span between what happened and now, many of those years, I didn't want to deal with it.
See, I didn't either.
Many of those years, I didn't want to take ownership for what I did. I didn't want to.
So Jay, you was talking about healing.
Mhm.
So I know me and you have discussed some personal stuff. We ain't gonna put nothing out there.
Right,
But
right,
we don't discuss some personal stuff.
right.
And you was telling me that you went through some things in a certain situation,
Uh-huh.
and you're kind of doing something in that situation. So how did you heal to go get
No.
back in that?
Now, I'm gonna tell you one of the things that he's asking me because I've been through a lot, and one of the things I'm saying when I do this show, a lot of people just think I'm a hope for life and all the rest of this. Let me tell you something. I was a person that had a gift since day one. I've been a caring, loving person that I promise you, man, that y'all will never understand, and I can't even explain. God has me, and one of the things I did is I tried to please every damn body and everything else, and then I found myself in a very dark place. And one of the things I can tell you about healing is understanding my disappointment was not understanding me. I tried to give more to somebody else than I can give, and I poured out.
That's
And
a problem.
And I went empty. But in that emptiness is because I didn't really want to see me. I wanted to see everybody else happy, and I forgot about me. So when I started realizing the hurt that other people were starting to give me back, it was because of the hurt that I never wanted to look at. So when
There
I
is such a
start
thing.
making change, it's because I made change because I forgot about me.
Now watch this. That's good. And let's recap that. I don't want to cut you. I'm sorry.
No,
to
no,
cut you
you
off.
fine.
But
I can't forget.
that's a past decision that many of us have made that we oftentimes don't grasp.
Mhm.
Sometimes you can give too much. You can give more of yourself than you have to give. And in the end, you'll be depleted. If you've ever found yourself depleted in a relationship or in a job, you look back over your shoulder and you're like, I'm not doing that anymore. Why am I going to spin my wheels for 2, 3, 4 years in a job that I absolutely hate? It's causing me stress. It's not going to let me grow. It's not paying me any more money. And I know that I'm more valuable than that. I'm not going to do that again. You should not do that again. The other thing is allowing people the decision to have people determine your value rather than you determine your value. And you allow yourself to be mistreated or put second or any of those things because you didn't value yourself that much. That's what this conversation is about right now. It's
Yes, it
about
is.
valuing yourself, and I'm not going to allow anyone or any organization to devalue me anymore. I'm going to make moves. And I stayed there way too long. I put up
Yes.
with too much nonsense, right?
Oh,
But
you answered
I'm
that.
not going to do it again. And that's the healing part is to say to yourself, I'm not going to do that again. This is what I'm going to do going forward. I'm going to protect my value. I'm going to speak life. I'm going to do the right thing, da, 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 da. But healing is always important. Here's the thing. Life is a learning ground,
Mhm.
period. It is it is designed, in whatever way the Lord has put that mechanism, it is designed for a constant and consistent learning of the nature of things, learning of the nature of yourself, learning of the nature of people, learning of the nature of situations. We are all being groomed to be excellent problem solvers of the Spirit. Because that's all we really face in life. There are things all kinds of chaotic things are happening around us, but not all of it bothers us in here. The only things that we're concerned about are the things that bother us in here. And so you have to go through this learning process of saying, you know what, this is whatever happened, I learned a great lesson from it. In fact, one of the ways to come out of every situation, especially challenging ones or your bad decisions or your bad history, is to say, here's what I learned, and here's what I'm not going to do again.
Boundaries.
I have made a brick mortar wall in my life by making the decision to not do that
Boundaries.
again, right? We just have to learn that the past does not set precedent, and that whatever happened in your past, kind of point of reference, if it continues to happen over and over and over, you're not changing.
Thank you.
If you continue to run into the same type of people and to have the same kind of hardships and have the same problems in relationships, you're not changing.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a sign that you are not changing. Change, you know, how simple can you put it? It's an inevitable process. The person who you love and who are married to and who you are with today are going to become something different tomorrow. And you may not understand why, you may not believe in what they did or why they did it, but things are going to change. And we're going to all have to learn how to evolve through these changes.
Yes.
Right? We're going to have to evolve through these changes. If you made a decision to go out and get a $1,500 mortgage and a $1,000 car note, now you have made a decision that forces you to get up and go to work. And you may not have had to been getting up and going to work before that. Mm-hmm. But when you get them paid off, you don't have to go and make the same decision. Right? You can say, hey, I'm gonna live in the house that I've always lived in. And that's one of the things I like to do is I like to live with abundance. I like to have more than enough. And so I sometimes will cut out unnecessary expenses so that when it's time to splurge, I'll always have enough to splurge. I like to eat a steak when I want to eat a steak. I don't want to be forced to ever not have the option to eat a steak. So
right there with you.
You know, so it's just about constant learning. It's about
but also I gotta give you to you, Crowd. You gotta remember where you came from. And me and you grew up a lot alike. And you had both parents and they did great by you. Me, I had one and the other one was something.
And she did great by you.
Man, my mom had me from the beginning to the end, and they said a woman can't raise a man. Let me tell you something. A woman might not be able to raise a man completely, but they can show enough stuff that you can get from other people because she is an angel. Let me tell y'all something, y'all single women that's angels. All y'all women ain't the same.
There are a lot of
I'm not going to speak on you, but the ones that's great and do the best you can, don't listen to these people talking about what you can't do. Because you can instill a young man to understand love in a way that he will resuscitate another. And then another man will gravitate you to understand what man is. But I'm going to tell you, man ain't got it right either. Because now you got to have God. See, let me say something. I told you in the last show, I tell you on this one, you got to have principles. And when you got some principles, you got some core values that going to help you better than what everybody say a mother and father can do. Because mother and father might not see eye to eye to get you where you need to be. They have to show you some things of compassion and how they work together. Because there's a lot of mother and fathers that don't. And now you got a dysfunctional situation that you're mimicking. And that's what happens. I didn't have all that dysfunction. I had a great mother to show me some things, and I had dysfunction in some other things, and then I had a bad perception of what I wanted to be. Now, when I start realizing and I start going through life, now you got to start holding yourself more accountable. I didn't care for accountability. I lived like everybody else. But you can't live like that and serve a great God. Figure it out. You got two ladders. You got a ladder over here of God. You got the ladder over here of life. And you're going to go up both. You can do both for a long time. And after a while, it's going to be divided. You're going to follow him or you're going to follow life. And I'm going to tell you something about following life. It makes you feel good because they accept you. You want to honor what has you. And that's the difference in this show. Because I follow life for too damn long to realize the failures of my life because I didn't follow what I needed. Figure it out, and I promise you, it's a difference. It's up to you.
Yeah,
I promise you, the world can't get you where he can. Yeah. But the minute you give up it, he'll show you a world that you can be. And that's where I'm at now.
Let me say this.
I'm giving up some things for greater things. And that's what this show is about.
There's only one way to overcome the past, and that is focus on the future. Whatever your hardship is, forget it and drive forward. And I think that's the lesson of the day.
It is. And just remember what drives you. Because remember, he taught you before you even knew. He gave you life. Nothing on this earth is promised. But what was, he gave you life. So you think the world owe you, or you owe the world? That's what you live in your life to figure out.
Really, that's a little bit of both.
Right? So when you figure that out, you figure out your purpose.
There it is. And that has been Bar Talk with Jay. My name is Crabmatic. This is my boy Smooth Jay.
In the
And
building.
we want to thank you folks for being here with us tonight. Just an opportunity to be leaders here in the community. We're here every Thursday from 7 to 8, Facebook Live. Please comment, like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends and family. And of course, never forget, folks, that we do this because we love you.
Yep.
We appreciate you.
Yep.
And with that, we are out.
Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.